Hey, what's up guys? It's TechSumer talking to you here. And in today's video, I want to talk about the Apple VR headset and more specifically WWDC in general. What products can we expect for this next Apple's event? Because Mark Gurman specified yesterday on his Power On newsletter that Apple should announce WWDC invites very soon. If you don't know, the last few years they did it on around the March to April timeline. And as you know, we are on the first 2 weeks of March, so Apple should announce WWDC invites soon. So what can we get on WWDC? Well, as you know, rumors point out to an Apple VR headset being launched, and of course, the Mac Pro. More than that, I don't believe we are going to see, like the M3 MacBook Air, or even the M3 iMac. I think that those products will come on a different timeline, maybe even before that on an April event, or maybe after that, at the end of the year. I'm not sure if Apple even is going to launch them during the summer. I don't know. The only thing that I want to focus on today's video though is the Apple VR headset and the Mac Pro that are supposed to come out on WWDC 2023. So if you are excited to talk about the Apple's future with VR and AR with the Apple VR headset, then of course don't forget to drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for your support lately. Enjoy my first video filmed on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Let me know what you think about the audio and the video quality. Let's get started. So, as you know, Apple is going to launch a VR headset. This VR headset, it's interesting because according to rumors, this should be a mixed reality headset, not just a VR headset. According to Mark Gurman, which has been the biggest leaker and the biggest source of information in this topic, Apple is going to launch this device on WWDC. At least announce it and announce the OS, more specifically the Reality OS, and it's going to be $3,000. Yes, I will tell you right off the way, this is going to be a very expensive product. $3,000, it's no joke, guys. It's really, really expensive. But what can we expect out of a $3,000 Apple VR headset? Well, firstly, we should expect this device to cost $3,000, but to be made on a very high-end material. Like the AirPods Max are made of aluminum and this very, very comfortable cushion, the Apple VR headset will be made of very comfortable materials, very light materials. There are leaks saying that the VR headset will feature carbon fiber and very durable glass. So we should expect the materials on this device to be top-notch, like the most expensive, but the best performing materials that Apple can find for this device. So I'm really excited to see what Apple can do on the hardware type of things. Because if you don't know, there are many other VR headsets on the market. There's the Meta Quest 2, which is actually very cheap. It only costs $350, $400, the whole pack. So it's like 10% of the price that this device is rumored for. So yeah, this device needs to be much, much better to justify the difference in price. Then there are Oculus, then there are other brands, but like, I don't see them catching up with Apple or even like Meta. But I do believe that Apple needs to differentiate themselves on the market. And the approach they are going to take is similar to the AirPods Max right there. This approach should be entering the market with a very high expensive product to see if people like this product. If they do like it, they will buy them and they will have huge profit margins, but low volumes. And if Apple decides that this is a good market to be in, then they will launch later a more cheap product, a more accessible product for everyone. So I'm excited to see what Apple comes for the first generation of the Apple VR headset that should be a VR headset and AR headset. So it's going to be mixed reality. According to Mark Gurman, these will feature an industry-leading input method. This device will be eye tracking your eyes and your face movement. So if you move your head and your eyes, you'll be able to track where you are, like on the space, and then you will be able to use a pointer, or you will be able to recognize where you are looking at, and you can pinch to open that app. Like you can touch on the screens to open type of app, or even you can move your mouse and click on a Mac. You'll be able to pinch your fingers and open that app that you are looking for. So your eyes will be your input matter and your fingers will be like your clicking wheel, your mouse. So it's very interesting to see if this will work well. If you don't know, like remotes and VR headsets, they do this now, but you have to use a remote, and not that much headsets have eye tracking and head tracking. The only ones that I do think they have head tracking and eye tracking are the PlayStation VR, and those are really good, but also really expensive, and they only work with PlayStation. These Apple VR and AR headsets will work with Macs and like other things. These are mainly for using your iPhone, mainly for using your Mac, mainly for using with your iPad. This is more of an ecosystem device. So like the Apple Watch and like, I don't know, maybe the HomePods, this device will be locked to the Apple ecosystem, and it's only for Apple customers. If you don't know, Apple likes to make these products because they like to tie down people to the ecosystem. After you buy an Apple Watch, after you buy HomePods, you don't want to leave, because if you do, those products will become useless. And this, when it works with ecosystems like the Apple Watch Ultra or the HomePod Mini, they are perfect devices and they work truly well. And that's why I do think this is another product for people to tie them down on the ecosystem. This device will cost $3,000, but rumors say that Apple will want to launch a $1,000 version later on 2024. I think that this device will sell well, but in low volume. Well, for people that are very enthusiastic about these types of products, they really love playing games here, and those are the actual market for this device. Apple in the future wants to launch an AR glass. These AR glasses would be the same thing as the AR capabilities on this VR headset, but they will be a lot smaller, like a normal pair of glasses. Although these are very deep into the future, and that's why I do believe Apple wants to launch this product now, so developers can now start prepping and developing apps for these AR capable devices, and of course they can get people used to this new type of platform. I do believe Apple will also lock this VR and AR headset to some type of features and functionalities. For example, FaceTime, according to Mark Gurman, this will happen. FaceTime, you will be able to create your whole body on VR, and you will be able to have FaceTime calls with other persons that have the VR headset, like the whole body. Like you are seeing each other in real person, but because this headset will feature 14 cameras, according to Mark Gurman, some on the front, some on the top, and some on the bottom, so you can read your whole body. It will not have cameras on the back because it doesn't make any sense. We don't need to see your back, but it will be like almost your eyes. You'll be able to be looking down, upwards, and the front, and the VR headset will be looking everywhere at the same time. So it will be able to construct a very neat and very realistic image of yourself. So on FaceTime, it will be able to create an avatar of yourself, so you can FaceTime people not through a window, like you can do it right now on the iPhone, but like if you can do it on the real person. A real in-person meeting, this should be really useful for companies that like to use meetings online on Skype or Zoom. These will be extremely useful for companies that like to do that. For people that have extra money to spare and they like to do FaceTimes. Then there's also another functionality that should be incredible, and that's for Mac users. According to Mark Gurman, this device will be able to connect to a Mac and display external screens on top of your reality. So this is more of an AR feature where you'll be able to put screens like side to side to your Mac and make more external screens. Like you probably have a limit, that makes sense because of the GPU limitations, but still, this will be like you can put 4 screens at the same time, and that will cost tons of money. And right now you probably want to do that, but when you don't want to do that, you can remove them. So it's more clean, more like minimalistic in terms of not having 3-4 external screens on your desk all the time. Only when you want to use it, you just put your VR headset on and you do it. Of course, Apple will also market the Apple TV Plus watching movies on a big cinema or 200-inch screen, because this device will have 2 4K screens, very, very tiny screens on its lenses, so you can be able to see extreme detail and like be able to actually think you are in the real world. Because the problem with other Meta Quests and other VR headsets, it's the low quality screen. You can actually see the pixels in some of them, and so makes the experience not that real. Apple needs to make this experience real, the realest there are, because this product will be extremely expensive. So that's the Apple VR headset for you, and I do believe with the new input method and the new materials that is going to be made of, the connection to the Mac and the Apple ecosystem will make this device, and I do believe it will be one of the best selling VR headsets on the market, although being $3,000. I cannot wait for Apple to shake this market, introduce a new product line, and of course, I cannot wait to see it in person and to review it. If you are excited, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that type of content. But in WWDC, that's not the only hardware we are going to get. there's also rumors brewing that we should get the Mac Pro. Finally, the Mac Pro. The Mac Pro has been delayed enough. Before, we thought it would come out on 2022, the beginning of the year. Then WWDC, nothing. We didn't get anything. So Apple was delayed with their timeline. Then they did not launch it at the end of 2022. And so people were very worried about the Mac Pro. According to Mark Gurman, Apple had an M1 Extreme Mac Pro ready, but they decided not to launch it because they had problems on the scaling up of performance. Although this M1 Extreme would be powerful, it wouldn't be that much more powerful than an M1 Ultra, and so they decided not to launch it, keep the Mac Studio, and wait one more generation. Now that we are on the M2 generation, we should expect the M2 Ultra not to come to the Mac Studio. Apple will not refresh that computer for the future, but to put the M2 Ultra on the Mac Pro. Other than that, I do believe Apple will give more options of upgrading this computer. More options to upgrade your GPU, your CPU, and your RAM at the same time. Yes, at the same time, you will be able to put more PCIe slots of M2 Ultras. You'll be able to have one M2 Ultra, two M2 Ultras, or even more. Just like Apple has right now on the Mac Pro, you can put one GPU, two external GPUs, whatever, or even upgrade your CPU. I do believe that those slots, because the computer will be having the same design, the same space, everything will be the same on the Mac Pro. These slots that right now are for external GPUs, I do believe Apple will transform them on the inside for upgradability, for you to be able to buy more M2 Ultras and to put them here if you need more performance. That will have more storage, that will have more RAM, that will have more GPU and CPU power. And so I do believe Apple will make this upgradable Mac a different type of upgradable. Yes, this will be very expensive though. I do believe that. And also, I do think that Apple will probably want to put some external storage on the side, like you can put external storage that is not as fast or even more RAM. I'm not sure how Apple will fiddle with that, but I do believe this M2 Ultra leaks that you will be able to put M2 Ultras and stack them on top of each other like a puzzle to be true. Apple has been preparing itself when they launched the Mac Pro in 2019 with these upgradable GPUs, these afterburner cards. I think this was a test for Apple to see how it would work because they launched this Mac Pro not even 1 year before releasing the Apple Silicon transition and already thinking of upgrading the Mac Pro. So I do believe that first Intel Mac Pro from 2019 was just a test to see how we would do with the afterburner cards, with the external GPUs. I think they are ready now. They will launch this Mac Pro with the M2 Ultra chip, where you can buy more M2 Ultras on the site for like $2,000-$3,000 and upgrade your computer even more for a more powerful computer. Of course, in the future, you'll be able to take out these M2 Ultra cards and put M3 Ultra cards, M4 Ultra cards, whatever you want to. So I do believe this will be the ultimate Mac, the ultimate upgradable Mac that I think creators, like high-end creators like, I don't know, MKBHD, Mr. Who's the Boss, and even companies and filmmaking studios will love to buy. I do believe this Mac Pro will start at around $6,000, the same price as the old Intel Mac Pro, but can go up for like $15,000 to $20,000. I don't know if this will be a bestseller from Apple, but I do believe, and I actually trust, this will be the most powerful Mac ever, and also the most upgradable Mac, at least Apple Silicon Mac ever. So if you are excited for these two products that I talked about today, the Apple VR headset, the M2 Ultra Mac Pro, do not forget to drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. According to rumors, they are coming on WWDC 2023. And that event occurs every single year on the first week of June. Tell me in the comments down below what you think about the VR headset. Do you think it will come out, or do you think it's just vaporware? This has been TechSmart talking to you here.